Hey Shooby-Doodlers, how are you doing? Well, I was doing a live stream this afternoon, and I was aiming to go like this, and live streaming is a little bit tricky, and I had left the microphone off and I hadn't actually switched cameras, so the very first part of drawing the night sort of got slightly missed, but I promised that I would do a re-edit and put it all together, and here it is. But let's not talk about it, let's do it. I'm going to have to start this again, aren't I? So this is going to sort of be coming down there like that with these kind of things, and then we're going to want sort of a knee there again with some kind of weird thing, and then we're going to have kind of straps on there as well, aren't we? Holding it all on, and then straps. And as soon as you get the right camera, then all the chat stops, doesn't it? You get that kind of popping pop kind of thing every time somebody makes a comment. So it's just trying to be too clever, basically, isn't it? So there we go, and I'm just going to get my hairdryer onto that, so mind the noise. I think we can say that this week's is a bit of a disaster so far. Hairdryer for pen, interesting. Well, yes, I'm going to go back to the drawing camera then. If you don't dry the ink and make sure that it is dry, you know, every video I've ever done I've always said, when you are absolutely sure it is dry, then you can erase the pencil line. What you don't know is I spend a minute going to make sure it's absolutely dry, or I cut that bit out of the video. So I use the hairdryer on all my videos. And now what I'm thinking of here is that we can have the crown kind of thing coming up there, and then we probably want some kind of ostrich feathers. That's the word I'm looking for. So I'll come around like that, and maybe another one like that. And so we'll have those on the top there. And so as the cross hatching on here, you know, I might not actually cross it, in fact. So just because you can cross hatch doesn't mean you have to. So what I'm doing at the moment is hatching, and I'm trying to give a kind of a three-dimensional kind of feel to it, and also trying to give a kind of a metallic feel to it, I suppose. And sort of maybe a bit down there. But here I could cross hatch just to get that bit more of that shadow in there. And I think cross hatching is something that in an illustration, see, I just did that instinctively there. I think in an illustration you'll be cross hatching. I think it's just something that you kind of build up, really. And a bit like watercolour in a way, and so you kind of do a layer and think, oh, I need a little bit more in there, and you just kind of build up the darkness. And so you start off quite light, and then either do a bit more there, and then something like that. And this pommel is going to need, well, but all these pommels are going to need a bit of darkness in there, and again quite dark in there, and it's going to be darker under here. And I think without reference, I think if I had reference, I would start thinking about reflections. Maybe in the metal here, and I'm just gonna put these in as sort of cartoon kind of highlights, really. And then here I'm going to bring that around there, and then this is, I am on the right camera, aren't I? So and I'll just bring those around like that, I think. And it can get very boring, and so yeah, maybe a bit more than around there. And again, that wants to be quite dark under there, and you can kind of curve your hatching as well to give that sort of curved effect. Yeah. So I'm just doodling here, really. And that's, you know, half of these angles are really, really wrong. You watch some illustrators on YouTube, and when they're doing cross-hatching and they're drawing their lines like this, they're incredibly slowly and precise, and I would get I get so frustrated watching them. They get along with it, and then they finish this really perfect kind of illustration. I think, yeah, well, that's kind of, yeah, I would just go mad illustrating like that. And so I suppose, and you can see I'm actually scribbling here. So if I do that bit, but here I'm just scribbling, and it's kind of what what floats your boat, I suppose, isn't it? And it's just kind of the way I draw in a kind of scrappy, kind of scratchy kind of way. I think I need a bit more in there. And then you need to sort of stand back a bit, and then I think, yes, I'm going to have a bit more in there, and maybe some coming up there too, and I think maybe I need a bit more there as well. And that looks like it could do with a bit more, and then that looks like it could do, and then so it sort of keeps going. And then these ostrich blooms probably need little kind of inside, you know, the feathery bits. I know there's a word for it. There's the actual. Was it? I think it was on Winter Watch last night. If anyone was watching that, I can't remember. They were showing how feathers go together. So you got the little branching bits inside, and then I probably need a bit of shade in there, and a bit of shade in there, a bit of shade in there, and then of course you're going to get the sun is going to be over here, ding 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 ding, creating a shadow, and so, but I've been thinking about that all along, because I've been thinking, you know, it's these sides of the curves of the metal are kind of where the shadows are going to be. But then this shadow is going to come down here. So it's, you know, you've got this bit of the foot there, and you've got a bit of the leg will be sort of coming down like that, and here you've got a bit of the foot, and you're going to have kind of the leg, but somewhere they're being sort of joined up here, and you're going to have the body of the knight down there. So so I'm just going to kind of scribble in some, because that's my way, scribble in some shadow down here, and that'll probably be getting a bit bigger as well over there. Shall I zoom out a little bit? And that's just me being very, very scribbly, isn't it? And then, you know, we're going to need a horizon line. So that's going to not put him on the table, but in the tournament area, and some grass, and then probably there's a lady's handkerchief that's just been tossed on the floor like that. Oh, come help, save me. There's a castle. There's a great big tower up here. Hang on, look, there's a great big tower here, and you got Rapunzel up at the top, and she's just thrown her hanky down. We need a little bit of a lacy edge on that, I think. There we are, you see it. This is how stories build up. I went to a school last week and did some drawing with the kids there, and as ever, I kind of do a drawing, and then one of them comes up, you know, oh, can I do this? Can I add this in there? And can I add an aeroplane? And I say, yeah, do it. And then slowly this kind of story starts appearing, and which is what's going on here. And you got ooh, got her hair is coming down here. It's a bit of a mess. It needs washing. It's probably a bit oily, I think. Which is he's never going to climb up that hair if it's greasy and oily. He's going to slip and slide and whatever. I'm going to come and see what all your comments are. This is the night that I drew on a live broadcast here. So I was streaming, and I was asked if I could draw a medieval knight. So I thought I'd just do a little bit of colouring in, and I'm going to do some sort of bits of blue, but just really following where the shadows are, I'm going to do these kind of bits of blue to be the kind of metal, the shiny kind of metal like that. And then I'm going to put a little bit of sort of darker in as well, and just drop it in while it's still fairly wet, so we get a kind of a gradation kind of thing going on. And I think that's going to be much darker underneath there. And yeah, there we go. And then we want the blade to be quite shiny, really. Put little bits in there. I think we're going to get a bit darker under there and under there. And in there. Right, now I just need to clean the palette a bit. And then I'm going to assume he's got kind of brown trousers on underneath there, something like that. And I think I'm going to give him nice red plumes. That's what so yeah, okay. Right, so that kind of ostrich feathers, but I'm gonna, so it's kind of feathering them out like that a bit, like that. Good. And then I'm going to get a darker shade of sort of crimson, carmine, like that, to kind of drop in while it's still wet. We'll do this as a cricket ball. On the broadcast somebody suggested that it looked like he was hitting a cricket ball, so we can do that. And then we're going to want something a bit grassy, so I'm just going to just whoosh that in here. Dun, dun, dun. And this is Rapunzel's handkerchief that she's thrown down from her tower. Oh, help me, save me, help me, dear knight. And he's saying, wait, I have a game of cricket to play first. So he's going to do that. So we can put a bit of shadow in here, and while it's wet, we get that nice wet on wet kind of flow. And I'm using neutral tint, which is my kind of favourite for this kind of thing. And want that around there, and I'm just going to add a few more kind of darker bits just to kind of bring it up a bit more contrast in areas. We want some down there as well. And there'll be a little bit of shadow underneath there as well. And then this was Rapunzel's castle down the side. So I'll get something ochre-y down the side and just kind of whoosh that in there like that. And then she's going to have her yellow hair, which is probably going to come out green because got some blue muddled up in that yellow there. So she's going to have sort of strange yellowy hair, and she's very greasy. He can't climb up because the hair is too greasy. And therein lies a whole other story. And I suppose we could bring some of this out by adding some kind of blue sky in the background. So well, this is kind of straight ultramarine. I'll add a bit of phthalo, whatever it's called, into there, so it's not quite so obvious. And then we can, if we do that and sort of something like that, and then I'm just going to squeeze lots of water out of the brush just to kind of squirt that out. And this isn't watercolour paper,
This is Seawhite cartridge, which is a good strong cartridge. I think in the States it's called Bristol paper, but we kind of, I think we have Bristol paper here, but we kind of have that more as a kind of a smooth illustration paper. So cartridge is just a kind of a normal everyday drawing paper, but this is quite heavy. I love Seawhite of Brighton because they're excellent stuff and very well priced as well. So this is 220 gram, which I think is, I don't know, £300, something like that. So it's quite solid, and I haven't taped it down because this is just a quick little thing, and I'm not really that bothered. It's not for an illustration, it's not to be scanned, it'll just go into an envelope and up into my attic and I'll never be seen again, probably. So there you go, how to paint a knight in shining armour batting a cricket ball while not rescuing Rapunzel because her hair is too greasy to climb up. There we go, thanks for watching, and keep coming back to the Shoo Rayner drawing channel, and make sure you are subscribed. Click down there and ring that little bell so you get notifications when there are new videos coming up. And in the meantime, keep drawing, practice. I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye bye.